Alongside the 10 plagues and the splitting of the sea, our miraculous survival is as fitting as can be. But in our thirst for preservation, we intersperse the presentation that our history truly has a universal resonation. Before there was a Jewish people as ourselves are known, a young man called Abram rebels from home. He smashes up his father's shells of stone, cause he doesn't think they're holy, so he dwells alone. The land that God will show him he's sent to discover, cause it's the world on one side and him on the other. And his new tribe they're gonna see isn't about polytheism, but a new monotheism with laws whose God reveals them. And though this people grew to be quite particularistic, their influence was such that you'd be thick to have missed it. Cause as much as you could look at us and say there's a nation, there's without hesitation a universal resonation. Alongside the 10 plagues and the splitting of the sea, our miraculous survival is as fitting as can be. But in our thirst for preservation, we intersperse the presentation that our history truly has a universal resonation. So I say tonight when you sing Vahisha Amda, free yourself from every bond and tear your leash asunder, and reverse your innovation with a personal elevation within a nation that emanates a universal resonation. We were okay in Egypt, but then things got explosive when there arose a new pharaoh who didn't know Joseph, quite morose if I may say, not to insult the pride, but he sulked and sighed while we multiplied. Indeed he thought his precious kingdom would be pumped and plied, right apart from inside if we all bow collide with some outside invading foreign culture's side. So I Gavalti tried to keep us stultified. See, while our numbers vastly grew to be exceedingly mighty, Pharaoh thought, why on earth are we treating thee lightly? I can see that we might be forced into a situation that's conceivably likely to let you take full-on advantage of your freedom and bite me. His assessment was solemn, see no question as foreign. The Israelites in his sight would be addressed as a column, and such a dagger in his side was this Hebrew thorn. He started drowning in the Nile every Jew born, while this infanticidal murder brewed. The adults were forced into servitude. But all that changes with Moses and Aaron, to whom the Lord appears and proposes to dare them to tell Pharaoh the God of Israel supposes to tear them out of bondage, but Egypt then opposes to spare them. So God stretches out his hand and imposes a fair amount of great and mighty plagues that he composes to scare them. And it seems to work a miracle, literally speaking, from slavery to promised land, particularly sweeping in terms of our own faith that we're still ritually keeping. But beyond that, you surely see the picture of beating, when black slaves in America would seek to show defiance. They would sing, let my people go. When the anti-apartheid cause was in full invigoration, without equivocation it set the tone for liberation, and it kept prevalence and set precedents for so many other struggles to inject resonance. But that one small group would start the cycle. Those Hebrew slaves were archetypal. So as much as you could look at us and say there's a nation, there's without hesitation a universal resonation. Alongside the 10 plagues and the splitting of the sea, our miraculous survival is as fitting as can be. But in our thirst for preservation, we intersperse the presentation that our history truly has a universal resonation. So I say tonight when you sing Vahisha Amda, free yourself from every bond and tear your leash asunder, and reverse your innovation with a personal elevation within a nation that emanates a universal resonation. Yet ever since antiquity, the Jews have been handpicked to be the nation who ran quick to flee the latest madman's sick decree. It's as if it's been planned cryptically, coming round like it's ran cyclically. But it's not such a programmed script that we never had our own grand victory. Yes, a naked and stark chain of hatred and dark pain, but we saw them all and beat them all. Just take it from Mark Twain, seeing man in God's image with a whole new role. Yet we stood accused by some of putting conscience on his soul. So we were targeted by peoples from the Roman to the Greek, cause we saw ourselves a nation who were chosen and unique, seen as close and in a clique, as well as loathsome and oblique. People had all kinds of theories and proposed them in a leap. So in killing us they thought they were deposing an elite. Hence we were ghettoized and made to wear strange clothes within the street. Die aside the protocols on top of the blood libel, but chosenness has never meant superior and tribal. Selected with the task to spread the values of the Bible. Yes, our foes were genocidal, but our principles went viral. Despite many troubled periods with Islam and Christendom, they both borrowed from the Jews, cause it was his plan. They listened and we withstand all this and see the reason in the madness, and give a massive massive thanks in every season full of gladness. Pesach was the start, world history the extension. But we only had that impact because we caught all that attention. So as much as you could look at us and say, there's a nation, there's without hesitation a universal resonation. Alongside the 10 plagues and the splitting of the sea, our miraculous survival is as fitting as can be. But in our thirst for preservation, we intersperse the presentation that our history truly has a universal resonation. So on Seder night when you sing V'hi Sha'amda, free yourself from every bond and tear your leash asunder, and reverse your innovation with a personal elevation within a nation that emanates a universal resonation.